Hey, in this one I'm gonna show you how you can multiplex your sockets in ZeroMQ with a poller. So maybe you're already familiar that with regular file descriptors that describe files or socket, you have a poll system call which allows you to listen to multiple file descriptors at once and uh, basically wait until any of those has some input which it can receive or input which can be sent to it. And so ZeroMQ has this same concept, except it's called a poller. So I've cooked up a little example here. So I just have multiple publishers and multiple subscribers. So my publishers are the same as the one from episode 1. I just have one which is publishing on port 8080 and one which is publishing on port 8081, and they have a different message that they send, and I have a little counter for the message. So nothing special. And then I have another file which is my multiplex subscriber, where I just have the regular ZeroMQ context. I create two subscribers, I connect to the two endpoints, and I subscribe to everything. So now let's see how we can make a poller to actually listen to both subscribers without creating like two threads and so on. So first of all, you need so the poller API is like in the draft of ZeroMQ. Well, I mean it's a draft, but it's a draft for like 3 years now, so it's stable. So the way you create it is similar to sockets, where you create a void pointer to a poller, then you say ZeroMQ poller new, like so, and there is a poller destroy, of course, like so. That's pointer to the poller. Let's do this like this, and then you need to register each one of the things that you want to poll on the poller. So this is done with ZeroMQ poller add. You pass the poller, the thing you want to poll, so well the socket you want to poll, so subscriber 1 in my case. Then there is some user data which we will not use, so just null. And then this is the event, so it can be either when there is something to receive, when something can be sent, or if there is an error. But generally what you want is receive. So this is just ZeroMQ poll in, like so. Then we're gonna register the second one, which is subscriber 2. And let's go down a bit. Here, now in the loop, we can actually check if there is any, well, wait for any event on those two subscribers. And so we're gonna need a ZeroMQ poller event structure, where we're gonna put like the information of which one of the sockets actually was polled. So then we can just wait for something to happen with ZeroMQ poller wait, where you pass the poller, a pointer to your event, and then a timeout. And the timeout is in millisecond, I think. So let's just put a timeout of 1 second. This wait function will return -1 if the timeout was hit. So let's do if ret is equal to -1. We just do a little printf timeout, like so, and we continue the loop. Otherwise, there was something to read, so then we can check our event, and our event has a socket member, which will be the socket that received something. So if it's a subscriber 1, we can do something like we can have a buffer here, which is a long buffer, and then we do ZeroMQ receive from subscriber 1 into the buffer. The buffer is 128 bytes and 0 flags, and then we said received from subscriber 1, and then we just print what we received, like so. Simple enough. And we just do exactly the same for subscriber 2. Subscriber 2, like so. And I think that's good. Let's try to run that, see what happens. Yeah. So let's compile that, nothing special, and let's run it. And you see I specify the two endpoints of the two publishers that are still running. And you see it works. So yeah, I'm able to receive from the two publishers in a single loop, and I can tell from which subscriber it came from. So let's cut this, and now let me show you that the timeout actually works. Let's put like a timeout of 100 milliseconds, which would be enough, hopefully. And so now we can see that it timeouts most of the time, but it still receives the message. So if you have something to do in this loop other than receive message, that's a good thing to set. There is also a whole thing where you can, in addition to add your ZeroMQ sockets in the poller, you can actually this poller is compatible with the regular OS file descriptors. So there is a ZeroMQ, if I can type, there is a ZeroMQ poller add FD, like so, which has a similar interface, but it will poll on the file descriptor. And so that's kind of neat, because you can mix and match ZeroMQ sockets and just regular OS sockets or regular OS files and so on. There is, I didn't show you as well, there is also like ZeroMQ poller size, which gives you the number of elements that are registered in the poller. There is a poller modify, which is the same thing as add, but you just modify the event type. There is poller remove, which will, well, remove one socket or one file descriptor from the poller. And I think there is also ZeroMQ wait underscore all, which allows you to pass in an array of events, so that if multiple events, if you have like a huge amount of message and they arrive all at once, you can handle them better by putting them all in an array directly, as far as I understand. So yeah, that's all on Poller. It's actually a very useful feature. I use them all the time in my threads, because I have multiple publisher and I need to somehow mix the inputs of them and do some actions from multiple of them, and it's very useful. So anyway, I encourage that you try to give it a try and let me know how it went. Anyway, that's all. See ya.